We are down to the final five, ladies and gentlemen. It is down to the nitty gritty, and things are getting more real than ever. Who's going to take home the money? I don't know. It could be everybody, it could be a couple folks, but I have a feeling that is definitely not going to be what y'all think it's going to be. Welcome, y'all. We back to the DeAndre way, and make sure to subscribe to the page. I appreciate y'all for joining us today. And we here to break down the trust, episode 7, the last one before the finale. And it is hype, y'all. It is definitely it's getting pretty intriguing because I didn't expect to see kind of like I didn't expect anyone to kind of go out like that. And I mean, I knew people were voting, so somebody had to go out. But in that fashion, woo, that's a tough pill to swallow. Gasper, you a dog. You a dog, man. But woo, we gonna get into it, y'all. It has been a ride, but we'll see what the future has to hold, and hopefully soon we'll get to hear from some of the players themselves to see what really was going on, because we only getting half the story. Y'all remember this. We only getting a fraction and a portion of the pie, but we trying to get all of it. We trying to get every last drop. So just hold on tight, y'all. We got something special in store for y'all. But we gonna get into it, y'all. Episode 7. We left off with finding out that Winnie was voted off the island, and it was nice knowing. She said she gets up there and she says she has nothing to say to the group. She knew what time it was. She didn't get her clock. And yeah, she said, "Y'all don't want to trust me? That's cool. I mean, they have reason not to trust you. From the things you were accusing others of to the things that your actions was doing. That's just what time it was. And look, now you can't blame the people for voting you off. You didn't do what you needed to do to gain that trust back. It's easy to lose the trust in a second, but it's harder to even gain it back." She said she might have more compassion in the way she speaks to people so they can understand where she's coming from and who she is as a person, and that's the lesson that she's learned. That's accurate. I think we all can learn. We all have lessons to learn from this. But yes, the way you speak to people definitely has a big impact on how you're going to be perceived. Because if you come at someone crazy, especially early on, it's hard to get that, like I said last episode, ingrained out of their head. They're stuck with that. And we just have to live with our mistakes, but put in every ounce of effort to get that back and how things once were. Like Sade said, nothing's as good as the first time. And yeah, she couldn't do it. It's a hard task, and the greatest of men and women have fallen because they could not do this as well. And she was just the next one in line. She said, though, leaving with $20,000 and a brand new sister is all she could ask for. Now, I forgot about this part of the deal. So it said her deal was that if somebody is voted out, somebody has to be voted out, or else, and she'll leave with 20 grand, or else she's eliminated with no money. I didn't realize that included herself. I didn't. It took me a second to understand this. I'm like, wait, how you leaving with 20 grand? You got voted out. But it could have been herself too. Some people's stipulations was you have to vote someone out, and the person you vote out has, like Julie had one, you had to vote out the person. Unless the person that you vote out leaves, then you won't get the money. So that's a little wrinkle where she pretty much, I think that's also why it makes sense why she went out with a bang, because she knew, look, if I'm voted out, I still get the money. If I get somebody else, I still get the money and I stay. So in her mind, it was a win-win situation. Regardless of what happens, all she had to do was cast a vote, and whatever anybody else did, that's what they did, and she wanted to leave her mark and impact. So it definitely makes sense on Winnie's point of view of why she did what she did, and she was going in guns blazing instead of kind of play passive aggressive, because then she might have been like, look, if I go out looking like a punk and didn't come through with the bullets flying, then I'm gonna go out sad. I mean, I'm going with some money, but I'm still gonna go out sad. And she wanted to put her stamp of approval on the game before she had to say her goodbyes. And she soon exits, and we find out Brian reveals that he has the key card to the vault. He's still telling everybody the truth. He's still putting everything on the line and still working as a team. Good for him, but at this point, everything's broken, Brian. Tolu is very upset after this, obviously, and she's crying. Julie goes to console her, and she says she doesn't want to be here anymore when her and Julie go upstairs. Tolu, you can't lose your eyes on the prize, man. I mean, you can't lose sight of what's really going on in that money. I mean, Winnie at least got some money. You're there alone, but you still have a chance to leave with something. So you can't just give up because your friend's gone. I mean, you got to remember this isn't for you at the end of the day. This is for you. Winnie would have stayed if you left and she would have kept fighting, so you got to do the same thing. Nobody wants to see anybody feel completely isolated. I don't like the point where it's like, I feel like I'm all alone and I have nobody else to talk to in the house. That's not the game to play, and I hope the people aren't doing that to her, because then it's a whole new game involved and we have a bigger issue on our hands. She did come at them crazy, so I understand why nobody would want to talk to her, but she did apologize to Brian, so at least him, out of all people, would be willing to talk with her, and same with Julie. I mean, even though she berated her, these people are showing that they can put what Tolu said behind them and, treat her with dignity and respect at the end of the day, which speaks volumes of their character. Julie too soon tells Tolu that she did not vote. She said she's not lying to random people, she's lying to her friends. Julie says all these things. Julie's looking at both sides of the picture of Lindsay and Tolu, and she's trying to see where they both are coming from, because, Lindsay, she lied about the candle, which is found out, and she's being a little isolated now herself. And then Tolu's upset because she's trying to understand why Lindsay did what she did. Each side has a purpose and a reason, but Julie's kind of stuck in the middle. And that's a tough spot to be in. I know everyone's had a point where you had two friends, good friends, fighting over somebody, and they're like, "You need to take my side. You need to take my side." And it's just like, I don't know what to do. You got to play Switzerland in that, and just look. I support you, but I can't get involved with it because that's my friend as well. And if either friend can't understand that, then that's on them at that point. You can't put someone else's emotions on your shoulder. That's just too much weight to bear. I know some people can probably squat a lot, but still, like, that's just too much to ask of somebody else. And if you're going to be that friend that's doing that to someone, then you're selfish. You can't be selfish and expect somebody to just carry everything that you're carrying, because then you're weighing them down as much as yourself. So why would you do it to your friend? That doesn't make any sense. Not that Tola's doing that. She's not doing that. But just using an example of people trying to put their burden on someone else, and basically gaslighting them and trying to make them feel as bad as they are. And if they aren't, then they're gonna be like, "Well, why aren't you sad for me?" Stuff like that. So she got to deal with this one on her own. Um, Soon we find out that Tolu said she's burned a lot of bridges and trying to keep Winnie in the house. And at this point, why even try? She did burn a lot of bridges. She berated the guys. She did apologize to Brian. She berated Lindsay. She berated Julie. Mama J's gone. So she did it to herself. I don't feel that bad at this point. I mean, I don't want her to be alone and isolated, but you did it to yourself. And you knew this. There's not that many people in this house. You can't go around picking fights with everybody, and then the one person you have goes home. I mean, what's surprising in this instance? Nothing. I don't feel that bad. And soon, yes, we find out that Brian is going into the vault because he had the key card from the poker chips game, and he has a chance to accept the offer. And this time, unlike Mama J's, if he looks at the offer, he must take it just like before. If he chooses not to take it, it will just be randomly given to someone else in the house. And he's trying to weigh the risk of what it is accepting the reward. Whew, that's a big risk. You're going to give this potential prize to someone else or offer? You got to take this one, Brian. I mean, it's three strikes and you out at bat, so you got to take it at this point. And you would be a fool not to take this deal. You would be a fool not to take it. Brian's the type of guy where it's like honesty triumphs over everything. He lives his life like that, and he's working as a team, and he wants the best for everyone. He's a very humanitarian type of dude, and I respect it. But this is, you know, this is where two things are colliding: your morals and values over something else that you kind of are the money essentially. And you got to put the first to the side. I mean, you've given everyone chances and whatnot, and now it's your chance. It's time to take what's yours. So the risk is the part he's trying to weigh the risk and accepting the reward. The risk is the part he's worried about because many in the house don't deserve the risk. So he's trying to put this weight on his shoulders now. He says he doesn't know what to do, but he can't give a risk to anyone out there, especially a random person that's not fair on them. So he's looking at it at a completely different angle. He's looking at it as the fact of, look, I don't want to put this burden on anyone else, so I'm going to take it. Not the fact of, I need to take this because everyone else, other people's being disrespectful and dishonest. Different way to look at it. I didn't really look at it as that point of view. I mean, there's another person on the show that kind of says they had a similar outlook on things on Squid Game. We're not gonna get into that, but I believe Brian when he says it because he's saying it on the show and during it. Um, I don't know. That's just an interesting way to look at it, but I get it, but I don't know. I personally don't look at it like that, but it is what it is. And soon he says, look, I'll accept the offer. And the offer is $30,000 in the trust is yours to keep, but you must randomly block 3 people's votes at the next trust ceremony. Woo! 30 racks. Woo! 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 Oh, y'all, 30 racks? That's not too bad. That's not too bad. And then also, I will do some math. I don't know how much the trust is at this point. I'm just gonna say 275,000 because we don't get an update at this point. But we have 6 people left, and if each person leaves or if each person stays and there's 6 people left, they each get 45 grand. So on top of that, he'd have 75 grand leaving. That's not bad, coach. That's not too bad. At this point, we can leave with 70 grand. I'm happy with that. I am so happy with that. So happy. But yes, he got this $30,000. So he says he doesn't deserve it. And Brooke tells him, yes, you do. So this man is upmost humble guy. He's like, I don't deserve the money. You do deserve the money, my friend, because you the one person who actually been standing 10 toes down on this team game the entire time. I don't think he's voted once. And definitely I definitely love that he's given this opportunity. He's the one who deserves it out of him and Gaspare. I think Gaspar deserves it too because he's been honest. Well, yeah, he's been honest to this point. And Jake. Jake hasn't been dishonest. He's been pretty much upfront with everything that everyone's going on. So them 3 are the only ones who kind of just been like team this, team that, and they've been following suit. So, Brian is the guy that gets this beautiful, beautiful opportunity. And I love it. I love it. And so he randomly chooses cards from the poker night that are on the table, and the cards are face down. So he just points to 3 cards. Boom, boom, boom. Those are the cards. And he leaves the room, but he doesn't get to see whose card he picks. And it was Julie, Jake, and Brian. So they do not get to vote. Only Tolu, Julie, Gaspar, and Lindsay's votes count. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, no, no. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, no, no. And soon we seen Jake and Julie are getting close. They're talking by the pool. They start cupcaking. They're having a little romantic moment and whatnot. It's getting nice, hot, and steamy up in here. We got Love Island settings going to the full effect. I like that little relationship. It's just cool. I'm not the biggest dating show type of watcher dude and whatnot. It's not really my cup of tea. But, every show, every good show essentially has showmances. It's a vital part of the game. It's a vital part of, just to keep things, add another element because that love aspect definitely enhances the game, whether people like it or not. You can't just go through a game and nobody like makes out or nobody has any sexual attraction to each other. It just has to happen. And they were on technically on opposite sides at the beginning too, so it added a little extra spice to the game. I don't really care for the lovers to make it to the end. Like last year in Survivor, the 2 lovers made it to the end, even though they're not together anymore. I don't really like that because then it's like you're a duo regardless. But it is what it is. They getting it in and they getting it on and popping. And Julie's trying to open that box up to Jake per se. And is he gonna take it? I don't know. This box is bigger than the box he was dealt in. Nicki Minaj would say. Jake says he's looking for someone that matches his values and beliefs and the same ideals as him, and someone that gives just as much as he gives. I respect that. Same thing, brother. We just want to be even, give each other, give a little, take a little, give a little, take a little. Good. And then as soon as Jake and Julie are about to get real hot and steamy, the fire is about to is combusting right now, and the fireworks about to set off. But then suddenly Brian, he sneaks on up in there. He's like, "Hey guys, I got to tell you what happened in the vaults." And I'm like, "Oh, they was about to get it cracking in the hot tub, man. Come on, Brian. You gotta read the room, man. Just you and Brian, you walking out there, you see that? You're like, oh, let me give him a minute. I know production told him to sneak up on there and to stop this spark from flaming. I know production did that to you, Brian, but you gotta come on, Brian. You gotta sit down and let your dog do it. You cock blocking right now. Come on now. That ain't the move, man. That ain't the move. We gotta just chill out, let them have their little time, just let they have their little time. We'll get yours later, but don't do it to a brother. You got a whole walk to get to the pool, and you gonna see them getting ready and getting close, and then you gonna walk up in there. Come on, Brian. Come on, man. He's like, I can't let Jake be influenced by this girl. He might do something crazy. Nah, they'll be all right. You gotta trust him. But we move, and soon Brian gets everyone together to tell everybody what happened in the vault. And he tells Jake and Julie. And Brian said, well, he tells them two first. And Brian and Jake are convinced Tolu will vote. And soon Gaspare comes up as well. Julie doesn't think she will. Julie says she's tired of people asking her to vote, and she doesn't want to get involved with these things. Julie. You voted 3 times already, 4 times already, if I'm not mistaken. You voted for Jules. You voted for Bryce. You voted for Simone. And you voted for... Who else did you vote for? You voted for somebody else. You didn't vote for Winnie. Who did you vote for? I don't know who else you voted for. I'm tripping. She voted 4 times. I'm tripping right now, y'all. But anyways, she voted 4 times. And nobody asked her to vote for Bryce. She had to vote for him. Nobody asked her to vote for, I guess she did get asked to vote for Jules, but she seemed like she was going to vote for him anyways. Nobody asked her to vote for Simone. She did that on her own, of course. I was like, Julie, nobody's asking you to vote like that. I think she's talking about this time alone, but well, girl, your hands all in the thick of it the most out of anybody when it comes to the voting and talking to Brooke down there, Come on, coach. Come on now. And everyone's having big doubts about Tolu not voting. They don't believe her at this point. She's shown her cards and they can't trust her. Understandable. It's late in the game, and this, you can't change up things at this point. You got to kind of just run with your guns and go with them, especially if you have the numbers. Julie says, Julie says if you snore, you're stuck with lies. I don't get that. She said, if you snore, like you're snoring asleep. And soon it's time for bedtime, and then it's her and Jake get in the bed, and she says, if you snore, you're stuck with lies. So I don't know. And she's probably joking when she says that. It's no big deal. I don't know. I snore sometimes, but you might not have sleep apnea. Who knows? And when they're about to go to bed, Brian's not happy about this. Brian's, he's pacing back and forth. He's like, oh, I got to sleep with these two in the room. My freshman year of college, I had my roommate and his girlfriend at the time. They were sleeping in the same room. Like, we're next to each other in a very, very small dorm room. And it's awkward. It's tough. You're on a twin-size mattress, so it's like you'll hear everything. So you just got to put in your headphones and just ignore it. But Brian ain't got no headphones in this instance. Look, it's a big old house. Why can't you just go in somebody who's been eliminated room? You don't have to stay in the same room. So I don't know what the big issue is, Ryan. You need to just leave and let them have their moment since you interrupted them earlier. You don't have to sleep with them in the same room. I don't get why you stayed, brother. Did you not go to college? Like, what's going on, coach? You was in the Marines. You had to sleep with everybody. Like, nobody was sleeping around in there in the Marines, but you get my point. You just got to get up and you got to get out, and I don't understand why he didn't just leave the room. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. But yeah, they get it on and cracking that night, and but they hold the footage from us. So we need those tapes, coach. We need those tapes. Soon the next morning comes, and Lindsay asks Tolu politely to leave when she's talking to the boys. So it's Lindsay, Tolu, Gaspar, Jake, and Brian, I believe. And then Lindsay says, "Hey, Tolu, can you leave for a second so I can talk to them?" That's very suspicious. That's very suspicious. Not the best look, you know. I wouldn't be cool with that either. Tolu leaves. She's not happy. I mean, I'd be tight too. Like, why can't you say it in front of me? You know, because obviously you're going to talk about me. So, like, I know that. I would have just walked out, crept around the corner, listened, kept my ear to the door, and would have just found out everything like that. But Tolu just says, "Look, fuck it. I'm going upstairs. I can't deal with this no more." And Lindsay says that she said she trusts the guys, but she doesn't feel like they're willing to make hard decisions. She says when Gaspar and Jake said she was the most trustworthy, that outed her and that shook the girls. She brings up the candle situation again, says that, you guys folded on me with the candle situation, but I don't think she told them not to tell Tolu and Whitney about the candle situation. It's not like, oh, don't say anything. Not that we've seen on camera. She might have said that, but it might have been off camera. And she says they can live with an air of mystery without lying, and says that they outed their spy, and it sucks. And Lindsay's going off. Like, she's just like, you did this, and you did that, and you did this, and you did that. And I'm like, whoa, Lindsay, you got to chill. You safe right now, coach. You are safe. There is no reason to do this. I don't see what you're going to accomplish. Like, you have the numbers. So you complaining on your own allies about these things isn't going to accomplish anything. They have no reason to vote you out. They like you. You're with them. You're hanging with them. It's 5 against 1 at this point. So I don't understand what the point of going off on them is for. Like, it's to get off your chest, I guess. In this house, I'll put it like this. In the house, sometimes you can go a little crazy. You're going stir crazy, and you got to out things to somebody. But if it's not going to help your game, then what's the point? I'm not following. I'm not getting it, and it's just not beneficial. It's not beneficial. It's not helping. And I just wish at this moment she would have just piped it up a little bit, piped it up, not that kind of pipe it up, but like piped her mouth, and just quiet, because you're good. But you coming at the guys is giving them second thoughts about working with you. When the consensus is already said, because the guys have told you already, we're going to get Tolu out and then we're going to get Whitney out. So I don't think it was a good idea to come at them, because she was coming at them strong. Like, everything she wanted to say to Whitney after she berated her, she's taking it out on the guys. And they're like, whoa, what you saying fuck me for? So definitely is getting hot and steamy in another type of way, and they're trying to light this fire out, not keep it popping on. So different types of fires going on in the house, and I just think that Lindsay needs to chill. But we move, and she's continuing going, and she's losing herself in the music in the moment she wanted. It's right there in her fingers. It's slipping away. And Brian says she's still unhinged. She's all pissed off and mad at everyone, and she pretty much calls everyone idiots. She's like, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot. I'm like, Lindsay, no. What are you doing? The strategic implementation is still at an all-time low. Jake said she wants her to feel assured and comfortable and safe. I see why Jake is feeling this, but Jake, I mean, look, the thing is, we're missing a lot too. We're missing a lot of context, because with Jake is being berated, all's well, he doesn't feel some type of way. So there's something underlying that we're missing right here. Very something big. And Jake says, she's very paranoid. And Brian said that something does not feel right about this. I can't put my finger on it right now, but something don't feel right about this, guys. We got to figure it out. And soon Brian says him and Gaspare really have to evaluate who they can trust in this game 100%. Lindsay soon walks by as they're talking by the pool, and they quickly change the subject. They see what's happening. Like, all right, let's the birds. Look at the birds and the clouds. Oh, it forms like an angel or something. Like, Y'all, they was making up stories about the times back home. They was talking about life on the prairie. They was talking about cows and horses, and then guys were talking about New Jersey. And it was a switch up real quick. You got to be good at the game to be able to make that switch. That's like when you can just switch it up automatically. That's keen. That's keen. Cause they know if Lindsay catches them, oh, it's back on and popping. The fireworks gonna go blasting again, and they might get thrown in the pool. And they're like, look, I got on my best fit today and my nice cowboy hat. I don't need to get this thing wet. Gaspar says when Lindsay's mad, it's more like children of the corn, and it's really scary. So I don't know what children of the corn is. I didn't get a chance to look this up. But we'll see. Let me see what Children of the Corn is real quick. Children of the Corn is a story about a couple who ended up in an abandoned Nebraska town and is inhabited by a cult of murderous children who worship a demon that lives in the local cornfields. Huh? It's a 1984 horror film. Gasper, what the hell is this? I ain't never heard of this movie. Who? Is there anyone famous in this movie? I ain't never heard of nobody in this movie, y'all. That movie is not okay. Wow. That's what you're comparing listening to? A killer? Jesus. It's like that. Wow. But yes, it's time soon to meet up with Brooke again for the next test. She says every day is an opportunity to tell your truth, and here's another opportunity to do that. In each envelope they receive contains each individual's voting histories. So every vote at every trust ceremony is in the envelopes, except the people who's been eliminated. So Brooke passes them out, and at this moment, it's getting real for Julie. She's freaking out because she told a lot of lies when it came to the voting histories, and she says the envelope is, uh, with them, and they don't have to. Brooke says the envelope has them, and they don't have to share what's inside. But each person is going to reveal their vote history. And if they do, they get an extra $5,000 added to the trust. But if they don't get that. And what she also says is if everyone reveals their votes and opens the envelopes, they get that doubled. That means they get 30,000. Five people. There's six people. Six people. $5,000 added. Six times 5,000 is 30,000. 30,000 times 2 is $60,000 added to the trust. Ooh, you can't pass that up. You do that, you basically voting yourself off the island at this point. And it's not looking good. I mean, you know, it it's easy. I mean, just say it, and you got to just get it through. It's not that hard of a decision. I think. I mean, you're showing people that you lied in the past, but what's in the past? In the past. At this point, this is the present. That's what I'm like. Look, it's the past, the present. I did those. Learned from my mistakes. And that's what it is. I mean, Julie, I understand she's feeling the pressure right now, but you got to just kind of just live with that. You got to live with that and just go with it. So I don't know what to tell you, girl, but just brace yourself and put on the seatbelt. So Gaspar starts, and he's like, I'll open mine. And he said he voted for Winnie like he told everyone else. You get $5,000 added. Simple. Jake is next. He voted for Winnie. That's the only thing he did. Obvious. He said he did it. Brian is next, and he voted for Winnie, like he said. Very simple. So the three guys, like, look, our hands are pretty much clean. This is what it is. That's it. Then Lindsay says, I'll go next. And, well, no, Lindsay says, of course, Brian and Gaspar and Jake are squeaky clean. Mr. Clean settings. They didn't vote for anybody except Winnie. Like she said, you can't be mad at them. I mean, they played the right game. They played an honest game. They didn't vote for nobody except the person they obviously knew they were voting for. So, it is what it is. I think she'd be clapping for them. Tolu is excited to see Lindsay's voting because she's like, oh, I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. And, she's weighing her options and tells her, if she doesn't tell, it'd be bad. But soon Lindsay's like, look, I'll volunteer next. And we find out Lindsay voted for Jewels, Bryce, and Winnie. Shocker. We knew Lindsay was voting for Winnie because Winnie berated her. We did know she voted for Jewels, but we didn't know she voted for Bryce. Or at least everyone else didn't. And so that was her best friend in the game, and people were like, "Wow, you voted for your friend Bryce." But I mean, like I said, it didn't matter if she voted or not in that instance. He was going home regardless. An extra vote added is just whatever, but they mad that she did vote for her. I don't think they're mad, but they're just like, I think the guys are upset because Lindsay did not tell the guys about that. That's what it is. And Brian seems to be upset because she lied. And he says the omission of telling somebody something is a lie. Look, if I don't tell you something and you never asked, is it a lie? There's a lot of gray area in that one. Because there's plenty of times I just kept tempting to myself. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, well, I didn't know I had to tell you. I don't think if you don't tell someone something, it's a complete lie unless it is to the derailment of that person. Like if someone says, "Oh, is it snowing outside?" and I just came from outside and I'm like, "I don't know," and then they go outside and it's snowing, I'm like, "Why don't you just tell me it was snowing?" That's the derailment of someone else. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. But if it's just something that doesn't really mean anything, I think this means something because it's like honesty and it's the game of trust, and you got to hold that accountable to people. But maybe she did lie in this instance. So maybe this is the gray area. This is where it's like it's understandable why he's upset. And that's why. And we'll see though. It's a two way thing. I can see both sides of things, but maybe she did lie in this because it's the trust that she lost. So she says it's a couple. She says they already know the list, and others, don't. Nor they have didn't. Nobody asked about what she did, so she technically didn't lie. You know, it is what it is in that instance. Lindsay says she put a vote for Jules because she was with the girls that time. She said she never spoke to Jules about game. She said she voted for Bryce because it was kill or be killed at that time, and everyone knows why she voted for Winnie. At least she explained herself. I mean, she could have just kept quiet again and played possum, but she owned up to it and faced the music. Gaspar thinks that Tolu is right about Lindsay now, and Tolu was telling the truth. She can't be trusted. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, no, no. Um, and yes, soon Tolu is next, and she voted for Juelz, Bryce, and Lindsay. No surprise, no surprise, no surprise. Everyone knows who she voted for every single time. But her vote didn't count in the beginning for Jules anyways, so I don't know why that was on there. I don't know why that was on there. That was weird. Everyone knows why she voted for Bryce. She told everyone she voted for Lindsay as well. So, I mean, it's obvious at this point what happened with hers. Jules is Julie is the last one left, and soon the pressure is packing on her. I think they're over exaggerating this edit a little bit. I think she knew she was gonna say it because like the last one, you can't not do it. She's like, I'm trying to figure out what to do. She says she's grateful for the opportunity and certain things she wants to come clean on. And so she reveals her vote, obviously. I don't think it was that much shocking that she did. She reveals that her votes, and she voted for Juelz from the decision that they didn't trust him at the beginning for no reason. I might add. She voted for Simone because Mama J told her that she was going to vote, and she thought it was going to be Jake, and it was a neutralizer vote. I believe Jake knew this. Jake told Gaspar and Brian this, and then Tolu and Whitney. She told Tolu and Whitney this as well, so everyone knows this, and Lindsay. So everyone knew that reason. Everyone knew that already. And she voted for Bryce and agreed that he wasn't deserving. And everyone knew that as well, pretty much. I mean, she told Jake that why is everyone surprised by her votes? Because she voted for Juelz, Simone, Bryce. Yeah, Juelz, Simone, and Bryce. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, every single one of those, I feel like everyone knew already. Unless I'm tripping. Maybe the Simone one, but No, she told Jake that. I don't know why she was tripping. Maybe I don't know. I don't know why she was tripping. I don't know. Because Julie's the one who couldn't not tell somebody what she did when she had to vote. So I don't know. I don't know. So Gasper's surprised, but he understands why everyone did what they did. Brian is upset with Lindsay because she never told him that she voted for Juelz. And Tolu said that she only voted for Bryce. And then Julie said that she was going to vote for Winnie, but she didn't. So he has a plethora of things that he did not know, and he's upset at everyone. But Brian, not everyone is obliged to tell you what they did. It's called the trust, but like the people can keep things to themselves. Like I agree with whoever said that, or Lindsay, that everyone doesn't need to tell everybody everything. Okay, like you can keep some things yourself, and I think that helps protect some people in their own mind as well, because at least they have some information that only they know. If you tell everyone everything, then you're screwed. You have no leverage. You have nothing to go with. So I'm not. I don't. I think he just needs to chill and like, look, like they had their reasons for not telling me these things, and it is what it is. But nobody voted for you, so you should be chill. Like nobody voted for me the whole time. I'm chilling. But everyone needs to know everyone's business up in here. Just mind your business a little bit sometimes. You don't need to know everything. So yeah, Brian's nosy right now. And soon Tolu speaks up and says she references this back to a certain individual who's always playing this game, and the individual who's been playing this game sneaky is Lindsay. And Tolu said she's always been open and honest and direct, and Lindsay hasn't. Tolu said she said Lindsay flows with whoever has power in the house, and she's going to stab them in the back the same way that she did the girls. Shots is being fired, like it's going off right now. Tolu says it sounds like you're paranoid, and Lindsay says she's not. So she shuts it down quickly, doesn't have much to say again. Tolu says she's been playing everybody from day one, and up until this moment, she still is playing, and she's the biggest player in the game. I thought Juelz was the biggest player in the game, coach. We ain't gonna get into that. Look, she's coming at her hardcore. She's coming at her full frontal assault. She's coming with the blitz. She's just blitz every time. Remember the Titan settings. And she ain't holding up, She's blasting this girl. First it was Winnie who got her licks in. Now it's Tolu getting her licks in. I'm like, dang, this girl, she's still, she, it's the 7th, 8th round, coach, and I don't know how much more she could say. She's just taking all these bullets in the air right now. I mean, Lindsay, girl, how are you holding up right now? Come on now. And, they called soon, I thought was silly. What's her name? Brooke calls that game they played the Circle of Trust. Y'all need to come up with new names for these games, because Squid Game already had a game called Circle of Trust. Okay, I'm tired of these Circle of Trust games. Okay, this isn't. It's called The Trust, not we need to trust each other game. Just it's getting repetitive. I'm tired of hearing the Circle of Trust. I'm tired of it. But yes, the game is over essentially after everyone's done berating and blasting each other. But they earned the $60,000, and the last thing they need to do. This is soon. Brooke says this is one more thing they need to do because they're near the end of the experience. There's 2 more trust ceremonies left, and then that is it. The game will be over after that. Soon, Julie apologizes to Gaspare and told Tolu about the lies. So she fesses up and owns it about her mistakes, and she gets nervous around certain situations going on. She kind of panics and then just kind of just like, oh, I vote for this person, or I do this, I do that, and she doesn't think it through. So she made impulse decisions. Gaspare is giving Julie the benefit of the doubts, and he understands and is showing, his remorse for the things she did. I respect that. Gaspar's not one to take things too heavily. He's like, you did that, you said it, all right, I'm cool. That's it. That's it. And eventually, it is time for the next trust ceremony. Jake says in 24 hours ago, he wanted the house to go a certain way and to get Tolu out, and that was the plan. But now he doesn't know. Gaspare is still a little skeptical about Tolu, but she's never done anything dirty to him, but he doesn't know about Lindsay either. They both haven't voted for him, but he's worried. Somebody could. We don't want to wait and see and find out and be the silly one on the end of the stick. Julie speaks first at the trust ceremony once they get there, and she knows it is between Tolu and Lindsay at this point, and the only way to get through this ceremony is for no one to vote. So look, we don't have any deals on the table. We don't have anything to go for. We already know we just three people can't vote because Brian told everyone about his deal. So there's literally, we can all make it through, Julie says, the first time. You know, she's trying to go with everybody getting through. Well, except for, I guess, Winnie, of course, but she knew somebody was going home in that instance. She just didn't want to be a part of it. Lindsay soon speaks up and says when she came to the house, she didn't fit in either group, the guys or the girls, and she was immediately drawn to the females in the house and wanted to work with them. And she was falling in line with the females, but then they turned on her. I don't see how the girls turned on Lindsay. I'm trying to remember how they exactly did. Maybe I don't think we're missing some context here because we don't see how they turned on her because the first vote, Jewels got voted out. Second vote, Simone got voted out. Um, Again, not really turning on Lindsay. Third vote, no one goes out. Fourth, Bryce goes out, but she voted for Bryce. Last one, Winnie got voted out. So I think they're talking about the girls turn on her when they found out about. I don't know. I don't know where they turned on you at. Maybe just the behavior wise, but no actions have seemed like they turned on the girls or the girls turned on her. So I don't know what she means by that. But I digress. Lindsay says she's willing to do what's good for the team as long as she's not at risk. She said she's there for self-preservation first, and then she can help the team second. Not the right word usage, I'd say. You sell self-preservation first. That's all people heard. They didn't hear the second part. So maybe switch like you shouldn't have said I'm here for the team first and self-preservation second. You can't be just honestly all truth. Everyone's being so truthful in these things where it's to a detriment. You can't tell them how you really feel, and you just got to tell them what they want to hear. That's similar to the circle. You can feel some type of way about somebody, but you just got to text them and tell them what you want to hear, and then they'll be okay with you, and then you can really do what you want to do because then you'll have all the power. Just my strategy going into it, but that's just me. And she just admitted there for self-preservation, and it's not a good look. And Tolu says you can't be there for self-preservation and still say that you want to be part of the team. That's right. That's facts. Lindsay says, what good is she if she can't take care of herself? I get it, but you can't tell the people that, coach. You just got to keep it in. Just keep it in. Hold on to it. You almost to the finish line. Just hold on to it. Tolu feels like she's talking to a brick wall because Lindsay is not budging on her stance at all, and she wants to vote Tolu out, point blank, and the period. Brian says you can't take people out because they're there for their self. You can't take this opportunity away from people because they're so close to the end. Lindsay says, Brian, were you not here for all the mean things that Tolu and Whitney said to me yesterday? She said, it's not happening that I'm not going to vote. And I'm voting, period. Period. She's like, oh, okay. She's voting, coach. Somebody go home. Wow. That everyone's, came around to Tolu. They're on her side now, and they're on the side of, they want everybody to stay. And Lindsay's not. She got berated to a T. I mean, she got backed into a corner and stomped out in the schoolyard for everybody to witness and then go talk about all weekend for her. And it's Monday to go back to school, and she's like, nah, I didn't forget about that, y'all. I didn't forget. I had all time to, ponder on this thing, and I'm ready to take action and strike back. Everyone's like, oh, snap. Well, we forgot about it. And Lindsay says too many rude things were said for her to change her mind. Brian says if Lindsay's unable to help herself in the moment, he can't do it for her. So then Tolu apologizes and said she's sorry that she said the things she said yesterday and hurt her genuinely. Might be too late for that, coach. The thing is, you can't wait for the table to do these things. You got to do them beforehand. You can't wait till last minute when something's on the line to try and get something for somebody. A lot of people do that in real life to where it's like once they need something and you guys, once they need something, they're going to hit you up and be like, hey, like what's going on? It's too late for that. You had time, you had weeks, months to get things together, but now you want to do it? Why now? Why now? And I don't blame Lindsay for feeling the way she did. Tolu could have came up to her afterwards and said, "Look, my bad," but she didn't do that. You can't wait till this trust ceremony to do it. So I understand where Lindsay's coming from. To be honest with you, I understand where she's coming from. She has every right to be upset. I've been berated and everyone just watched. And then now she wants to say sorry and I'm just supposed to let it go? Like Elsa? I'm not doing it, coach. It's hard to let your pride decide this. So actually, I was kind of like, why is Lindsay saying all this and acting like this? But I understand why. Because they had the time to do it, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Tolu did not come to her before, apparently, and say anything. They've been silent treatment until now. Now your back's against the wall. Now you want to help me? It's too late for that. It's too late. It's too late. So I understand. I'm kind of with Lindsay on this one. Brian says he is first to vote now, and he says he ultimately wants to let things play out. He said he feels conflicted in putting down a name. He knows he's supposed to be voting today, but he says he's not going to. Jake says he still wants to bring everyone together, and what's between Tolu and Lindsay is between them, and he doesn't want to cast a vote. Julie is next, and she says she feels bad because her friends are fighting, and she doesn't know what to do, and it's out of her hands, and she's just happy she's still alive in the game. She's at a place where she can do that and just chill and sit back, and it's up in the air, and it's not her place to vote, so she does not vote. Lindsay's next, and she said she cannot help a team if she can't help herself and if she's not protected. She said Tolu was just mean and she can't trust her, and she cast her vote for Tolu. Tolu's next, and she said she tries to ease things and get along. Too little, too late. You can't. She waited till last minute, so stop it. And she says she could, she did what she could. Whatever. And she's going to cast a vote on Lindsay tonight because Lindsay is the snake. So she actually says, I cast my vote for Lindsay the snake. You got to do some self-reflection. Do some Mulan reflection right now, y'all. Because just put yourself in the other person's shoes and see what happened to them and see, well, if that happened to me, would I be cool with it? I guarantee you, if the roles are flipped and Lindsay went all day and not apologized and wait till the table, she's like, well, why are you just apologizing now? See what I mean? Gaspar's next, and he has a chance to make the decision that's morally right. He says the decision's tough, and he knows that 3 out of the 6 votes aren't going to count, and he says he has to protect the person that seems more trustworthy and reliable to him. Now, this is the first time I'm questioning Gaspar's decisions because this has nothing to do with him, like Jake and Brian said. I mean, Lindsay did sell self-preservation first, but she's never done anything bad to Gaspare except berate him that one time. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's some things that we're missing. We're missing a few things here. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. We're missing some things here. But then the scene cuts. So, voting's over. Brooke soon returns and says, someone is going home tonight. She be cracking me up on how she be coming. Someone is going home tonight, guys. And it's like, damn, girl, chill. And we soon find out that, dun, 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 Lindsay is voted out the trust. And we find out that Gaspare is the vote that voted for Lindsay because Brian, Jake, and Julie had their votes canceled out. Lindsay does not know what happens, and it sucks. Everyone gives Lindsay hugs before they get up out of there. Gaspare says the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, and he doesn't know exactly what Lindsay was, but he knew what Tolu was. Understandable. He wasn't willing to take that risk, but I don't think Lindsay would have played with them. But maybe she would have. She was given alarming signals and whatnot at certain moments, but I don't know, Coach. We're gonna have to see what Gaspare has to say about that one. I don't know. I don't know. And Lindsay always has this. She's good at doing this eyebrow raise thing. I can't do it, but she has this. She's able to bring her eyebrow from here to here real easily. I need that trick, Lindsay. I need to know how to do it. That would help me a lot in some tapes that I have to do. So the vote's over. Lindsay's out of here, and there's one big decision left, and it's up to the group. And that's where the episode ends, y'all. crazy episode. Lindsay's out of the game. There's only 5 people left. So I'm thinking if they had 60,000 added, I'm just gonna do some math real quick. Say the trust is at $300,000. It's probably more than that, but I'm just gonna use that. Divided by 5, that means each person leaves with $60,000. I'm cool with that, coach. I am cool with 60 grand. It's probably more than that, but I'm cool with that. Would y'all be cool with 60 grand, or is that not enough? Because say it's still at $300,000 and there's only 4 people left, 75. Say there's $300,000 and there's 3 people left, 100,000. 2 people left, 150,000. That's a big difference between 60,000 and 150,000, or the whole 300,000 in itself. So we'll see what the last test is gonna be, y'all. We'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be something real enticing though. But we'll see if Brian can hold on to his morals and values if he's offered a big piece of the pie. Like, oh, Brian, you could vote 4 people out right now if you want. Somebody's gonna get that offer. I think the last one's gonna be somebody's gonna get the chance to vote to just kick people out and have most of the money for themselves and one other person to bring you along. It's like, oh, you can bring one person along with you, but everyone else is going home with nothing. That's what I think it's gonna be. Thank y'all for joining us for the Trust episode 7 review. It was fun, y'all. We are at the final episode next week. It's gonna be lit and crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm excited to see it and wrap this thing on up and get to talk to the players soon and find out what their journey was like. We up out of here. Continue. We have another traders rant coming up, or reaction review coming up as well next week. We're all caught up with that. We caught up with everything, y'all. So we got some new things on the table coming soon. We got some new things outside of the trust. But sure, also to make sure to join the Patreon. We got exclusive things going on up in there with different players from different shows like Squid Game, maybe Drag Race, maybe The Challenge, maybe Survivor Big Brother, etc. We got some things going on in the Patreon, exclusiveness going on, maybe some additional reactions and things to and recaps to some other shows that I'm not putting on the main channel, and maybe some exclusivity on some other things that was going on. But join the Patreon, y'all. It's definitely worth it. Only $5 a month. Definitely worth the while, and helps me out as well to keep improving the product and making things bigger and better, because every week I'm trying to add something new, y'all. Every week I'm trying to bring something a little new to y'all. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to provide for the people, so we get to a point where it's like, woo, this $5 show, this review show is better than the actual show, coach. We're working on it still, though. We working on it, we working on it. But thank you guys so much for joining me as well. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the DeAndre Way. I appreciate you so much. And until next time, we out of here. This is the DeAndre Way, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.